April 2021 Central States US coin signature auction hosted by Heritage offered some astounding Lincoln cents, with some pretty serious money too. One of those coins is a repunched mint mark variety from 1956, a very rare variety where the initial D mint mark was misplaced completely towards the south of its initially intended position, to such a dramatic degree that the first punching is separated completely from the final position. Not only is this a high-grade example of this particular coin, but it is also a fairly early die state example where the complete letter D can still be seen towards the south of the mint mark. Graded as PCGS MS67 Red with a green CAC seal of approval to boot, this coin sold at auction for $1,620. A slightly more modern variety coin is up for discussion next. The 1984 doubled ear variety is one of the most impressively double die obverse coins from the 1980s, and a simply wonderful example of this particular subtype of variety. You can clearly see on this coin where the offset hub doubling resulted in a second earlobe, or put more accurately, where the ear was doubled almost completely towards the southwest. Quite unmistakable indeed. The current example was graded as PCGS MS68 Red, and again attained CAC certification, which no doubt helped to achieve the lustrous price at auction of $2,880. Up next was a spectacularly eye-catching example of the 1913 matte-proof issue of the Lincoln cent. When it manages to catch the light just right, this coin literally shines with toning that radiates from steely blues to violet undertones and then suddenly transforms to a peachy orange and bright copper. While this is not the rarest of the matte proofs from this early era, claiming a mintage of 2,983 coins, this coin's sheer eye appeal and desirable grade of proof 67 red brown star from NGC secured a final bid of $4,500 at auction. The next coin is a veritable superstar of the Lincoln Penny series, one of the best known and sought after coins for both variety collectors and series specialists alike, the FS101 variety of the 1972 double die obverse Lincoln cent, by far the strongest of nearly the dozen or so notable varieties for this particular issue. The doubling can clearly be seen without the aid of magnification on every one of the letters of liberty, as well as In God We Trust and the date as well. It is easy to understand why this coin is as sought after as it is, with the example here graded by NGC as MS67 plus Red. The auctioneer's gavel fell at $5,520. And then for the most modern, or well, maybe I should say the most recently minted of the coins on this list, a 1992 D Close AM Lincoln cent. Technically, this rare red book listed variety coin is a transitional era coin, but splitting hairs and calling it a variety coin is fair enough, as this coin is the result of a reverse die of a slightly altered design intended for use in 1993, being pressed into early service when it was accidentally paired with a obverse die of 1992 instead. The close AM nomenclature comes from the spacing between the A and the M of America, where this coin displays a noticeably smaller or narrow gap between those two letters when compared to a regular or a wide AM example. Originating in the Denver Mint, this example was graded as PCGS MS65 Red and raised the sum of $8,400 at auction. From there, we look at an extremely rare proof variety from 1970. This is a 1970 S large date double die obverse proof cent. Quite a mouthful to be sure, but well worth the effort as well, as this is one of the scarcest varieties in the series. The doubling is rather strong in this case as well, and can be seen on all of the letters of the date. But one of the more interesting quirks of this issue is a diagonal die crack that runs from the mint mark all the way through the date. That, to my knowledge at least, appears on all of the known examples of this variety. This could also help to explain why this coin is so incredibly rare. If the die did fail as a result of this die crack only a short while after being pressed into service. Here we have an example graded by PCGS as proof 65 Red, with CAC approval that sold at auction for $9,600. We are then greeted by one of the earliest examples of a variety coin from within the Lincoln Penny series, the 1909 VDB double die obverse cent. This is an example of the FS 1102 variety that is characterized by the inclusion of a die chip within the cavity of the letter R of Liberty. Most of the doubling on this is not quite as in your face as some of the other coins mentioned, as this is an example of Distended Hub Doubling, but it can be seen clearest on the tail of the first number 9 of the date. It was authenticated by PCGS with an almost unbelievable grade of MS67 Red, which secured a closing price at auction of $9,600. And then a coin which requires little introduction, if any at all. Probably the most famous and dramatic example of a hub-doubled coin in the US Mint catalog, the 1955 double die obverse cent. There is just no missing this coin. Every single element of the obverse design is doubled, with even complete separation of some of the letters taking place. There are few collectors who do not dream of owning one of these coins, and its popularity has only increased over the years. The current example was graded as PCGS MS64 Red, placing it in the upper echelons in terms of grade alone for this particular type. It sold at auction for $15,600. And then the absolute perfect coin to follow up on the 1955 double die obverse, as it is, in most collectors' minds, likely second only to the previous coin in terms of fame and definitely desirability, the 1969 S double die obverse Lincoln Penny. Although it is a lot scarcer by quite a significant degree than the 55 coin. To be clear, doubling may not be quite as dramatic, but it is still one of the strongest doubled coins out there, with Liberty, In God We Trust, and the date all being doubled to unmistakable effect. This coin was graded as AU58 by PCGS and fell under the auctioneer's gavel on this occasion for $19,200. And then the most famous error coin in the Lincoln series, and probably in the entire 200+ year history of the US Mint, the 1943 copper cent. Well, technically it's not copper as it was struck on a bronze planchet, but again we're splitting hairs at that point. This coin was accidentally struck on an older bronze planchet, left over from the 1942 production run, this in a year when all 1943 pennies were supposed to be struck from zinc-coated steel. Today, it is estimated that around 15 or so of these coins from the Philadelphia Mint at least, remains surviving. PCGS graded the current coin as MS62 Brown. This is a true legend, and accordingly, the closing price at auction for this extraordinary coin was $348,000. Subscribe to WNN and activate notifications with the bell icon to know when new videos are released. For the World Numismatic News, I am Numisman saying thank you for watching. Stay safe, keep collecting, and have a fantastic day.